like to call the Albany Selectmen's meeting to order at 5:30 p.m. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. New business, approval of the April 13, 2022 Selectmen meeting minutes, including 2 sets of non-public session minutes. Can I have a motion, please?
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
And a second?
Any discussion? I'll call to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Approval of the April 27, 2022 consent file, which consists of review and sign manifest in the amount of $10,872.15 to include payroll and accounts payable for 4/27 and 4/30. Review, discuss, and approve a deny a building permit for solar on map 13, lot 3, Kangamangas Highway.
So that has not been signed by Peter, he's in Florida, but I did send it to him and he said that it was fine. He'll swing by on Monday and sign it, so he's reviewed it. He just hasn't had a chance to
Actually
scan it and sign it.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent file of April 27th.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Review, discuss, and approve a denied permanent application for property tax credits exemptions. And that was the one they had applied for both the tax credit, the veteran credit, and the exemption. Is that right, Kelly?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They did not submit their data to support the application for their elderly exemption, but they did provide the support to approve their veteran credit. So I will make a motion that we approve their veteran credit and deny the elderly exemption.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Review, discuss, and approve or deny the current use application for map 8, lot 44, Upper Saco Valley Land Trust, which is on Brookside Road. I think it's a piece of land that they had recently obtained in...
It was owned by the town and
Right.
the state, or no, it was owned by the state and it was offered to the town first. We did not object to them acquiring it. I think our piece was a 2-acre and
Yes.
most of it is the parking lot.
Yes.
And they're using it for conservation purposes. So they're putting it, the Conway piece in current use and our piece in because ours is not big enough to be in current use without the Conway piece.
Oh, gotcha.
And he had been talking to Jason for weeks before this, so they were waffling back and forth about a conservation easement or current use and decided on current use.
I will make a motion to approve the current use application for map 8, lot 44.
Second.
Discussion? Call it to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Review, discuss an A9 and... Oops, sorry.
Can you just, so they also provided an A9 and an A12. They are looking for charitable status. So
Okay.
I think you need to vote on
Okay.
that as well, just since you're on that
Well,
item.
why don't we make a motion to approve the A9 and A12 submitted by Upper Saco Valley Land Trust? Any second? We'll discuss it and then we'll...
Second for discussion.
So the charitable, and if you look in your packet down where Jason writes a letter of other what he suggests, what he's always recommended for Audubon Society and Lakes Region Conservation is that they're already in current use. And let me just get Jason.
He does warn too that there's more and more of these conservation coming up and
If
you should scrutinize them.
If you look at both or all 3 of the application for exemption status for charitable, if you look at the applications, their reasons supporting the charitable is pretty much the same across the board, be it Audubon, Lakes Region Conservation, and now this Upper Saco Valley would be a new one as well. And Jason's email about Audubon anyways, just come up to his email.
It's about 3E.
Yeah.
It's 3E.
3E. 3E.
That helps you find.
The laws regarding charitable exemptions are RSA 72:23 and 72:3-1, and state that an organization must perform some service of public good or welfare, advancing the spiritual, physical, intellectual, social, or economic well-being of the general public, or substantial and indefinite segment of the general public that includes residents of the state of New Hampshire, with no pecuniary profit or benefit to its officers or members, or any restrictions which confine its benefits or services to such officers or members or those of any related organization. The fact that an organization's activities are not conducted for profit shall not in itself be sufficient to render the organization charitable for purposes of this chapter, nor shall the organization's treatment under the United States Internal Revenue Code. He goes on to say that just because an organization is a nonprofit doesn't necessarily make it charitable. And while the act of land conservation does provide the public benefit of open space, it's debatable whether it alone passes the bar for being charitable. Previous boards have denied the request on Audubon and Lakes Region based on the charitable question and for other reasons. The parcel already receives current use assessment, which greatly reduces tax burden. The decision is up to the Board of Selectmen. It could be supported either way, but caution is recommended because there are more and more charitable requests that state, especially with the proliferation of similar land conservation trusts. Other towns have made decisions both ways.
Is this gonna prevent them from raising funds to keep the?
Not at all. Not at all. This has to do with their tax burden.
Okay,
And this letter is in specific reference to the Audubon Society.
okay.
But every year, the charitable, the Audubon has always been denied, and the
Lakes Region.
and the Lakes Region has always been denied. So basically, what we need to consider, I think, to be consistent would be the Upper Saco Valley. And the parcel, he was saying that they don't occupy. Let me just find that. Okay, the subject parcel is not truly being occupied by the organization, but it does protect wetland area and is well exposed to the public. The Nature Conservancy decision also refers to another exemption case that said the occupation and use cannot be slight, negligible, or insignificant. And then he goes on to say, just because the organization is nonprofit, in reading over the application, I feel like it falls into the same category as Audubon and Lakes Region. And just for consistency, my vote will be to deny.
It really doesn't create
Right.
hardship
It
because
does not.
you just approved putting them in current use,
Right.
so they're going to get a considerable tax, relieved of a considerable tax burden. Audubon pays about $24, $25 in taxes every year
Yeah.
because of their current use. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't figure out what Upper Saco Valley would pay, but it will be considerably less than, ad valorem value.
Right. Makes sense to me, how you explained it, Kathy.
Any thoughts?
I agree with sticking with
No, you guys.
The recommendation.
You set the precedent.
Yeah,
to
it's
keep
not,
that,
this recommendation isn't specific to Upper Saco Valley,
yeah.
but it is, however, for Audubon and Lakes Region Conservation. And I don't know, it's just my opinion that they fall in the same grouping with Upper Saco Valley.
And they're already getting the tax break.
And they will get the current use
Yeah.
rate, which is greatly reduced tax rate.
I agree.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, no.
So the motion on the floor is to approve the A9 and A12 submitted by Upper Saco Valley.
Yeah.
I will call it to a vote, nay.
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 Review discussing the A9 and A12 submitted by New Hampshire Audubon Society, and for the same reasons, I'll make a motion to approve, and we can deny it.
Second.
Discussion.
Is this the same?
This is the same thing, but it's another
Organization.
application
Gotcha.
for an obligation of the Audubon Society.
Okay.
Any discussion? All in favor? Nay.
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 Review, discuss, and approve and sign the MS 535 financial report for the Department of Revenue as provided by the town's auditor. I will make a motion to approve and sign the MS 535.
Second.
Discussion. Everybody look at it? We're in good shape.
Yes.
Looks good.
Yes.
Looks good.
Call to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Review, discuss, an A9 and A12 submitted by Lakes Region Conservation Trust. It's the same thing that we just went through for Audubon and for Upper Saco Valley. So I'll make a motion to approve the A9 and A12.
Second.
Any discussion? Call to a vote. Nay.
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 Town administrator report.
So I got a call from Jason Ayat yesterday. Well, actually, while I was gone, I called him back and then we played phone tag a little bit. So we finally spoke yesterday, and today he sent me some project information. He is the project manager for the Route 16 corridor project from the Albany Tamworth town line to the Albany Madison town line. The survey they've been doing, right now they're in the throes of surveying and data collection. And they did a pretty nice map. Basically, the project is about improving safety.
Yep.
So originally it was slated for widening
Yep.
and rumble strips. They've already heard from some residents, so part of why he wanted to touch base with us was to kind of liaison with the board. He's happy to meet with me. He's happy to meet with a representative from you or all of you. However, he just wants to kind of open the door, so because this project isn't slated to begin until 25. So 2025, 26, 27. I believe it's originally slated as a $9 million project. But they've already heard from some residents who are not jazzed about the rumble strips. They make a lower profile one that are called mumble strips now. But I said, obviously that is going to be a bone of contention because there's a lot of residential housing right on the road, and you can't sleep through the night when it's amazing how much traffic there actually is between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. But he understands that, and he's willing to talk about that, and certainly, they are willing to compromise if we wanted rumble strips on the fog lines and not in the center line. There's all kinds of ways that can be done or not done, and there will be public hearings before that is finalized.
For who?
For the residents as well as, but right now he's just kind of reaching out to the board. I did forward him I don't remember if you were here yet. I think you were. It was last year. There was a resident that reached out about the intersection at 16 and 113. And this project is not going that far, but he did say that they would take it under advisement and he would include that in some of his data collection. So who knows? I mean, if they look at fatalities and accidents so I thought this was some good information. I just got this today, so I kind of included it in your second part of your packet because it's got some good information. And I didn't know, Kelly, I know you.
I would
this
love
is,
to be the liaison. I would love
This
to.
is kind of right up your alley.
Only because I live on Route 16 and I have
Even more so.
multiple safety issues, so I would love
Yeah.
to be part of it.
Okay. Well, I did a packet
I
for
got it, yeah.
you, and I got all his information is here. So, if you want to reach out, or you want me to reach out,
I can reach out, that's fine.
if you want
Yeah.
to do it here and you want me to sit in, I'm willing to do
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
I think you
Yeah,
know more about roads than I probably will
Yeah.
ever know, but you know,
Yeah.
just to kind of keep the board in the loop. So that's where we are right now. And he said, you know, the project can change based on, obviously,
Money?
well, I think he's already said that just based on the materials they need and the cost of things that are going out to bid right now, it'll be more than the $9 million. But they also have to, you know, the survey, and they have to get that land to widen. I mean, it's not state land necessarily. So it'll be a pinch interesting.
it needs it though.
Yeah, and we've got, you know, we've got a
time.
lot of corners. We've got a lot of uphill, downhill
Yeah.
around corners.
Yeah. And increased traffic.
Well, yeah,
doubt.
and that's the thing. And also the concern, you know, I expressed this a little bit, like I drive 16 a lot all the way to Somersworth, and the Somersworth Rochester piece always feels like it gets paved every 3 years. They improve the railroad tracks and you know, they spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then this little piece here, it's like a 2-lane road and 55 miles an hour or 50 miles an hour. It's
And
like,
it gets washed away, and they just put a
I've
skin
had
coat
2
over
family
it.
members rear-ended turning in my driveway. And I've had a friend that got on a motorcycle got clipped turning in my driveway. And
Yeah.
everything you're saying is all true. So I would love to have the opportunity to talk to someone about this.
yeah.
In that intersection at 113, I take that turn daily, and that is just,
It's so dangerous.
it's probably the worst intersection I can
All
think
4
of.
ways.
All,
You know, if you consider the people coming out of Wildwood.
yeah, and the traffic going into Madison now is phenomenal. And to come out, you see that stop sign's knocked
Yeah.
over every 3-4 days because people don't make the turn. And I'd love to talk to them. Not that it's going to go anywhere.
Well, and I think that that's what it needs. It needs a grassroots effort, because I don't live here. I haven't been here long enough to have that historical piece. Like, I send them those emails because I think obviously if people are writing to, and we gave the name of DOT, like there's a concern, and they're, you know, maybe you do this project, but you extend it to that one intersection as well.
Yeah.
I think when there's a need, I mean, we saw it with the traffic circle in Ossipee by the court. You know, there's a 17-year-old fatality, and all of a sudden a 10-year project gets done in a year and a half. I've never seen the state of New Hampshire do anything that fast. But how many people have to get hurt or
Hopefully I
die?
won't take that.
Yeah, so that's good.
I will
that
definitely
you-
reach out to him.
I think you can articulate it better than I can.
Yeah.
All right,
So that was all I
onward.
had.
Appointments none, old business, nothing is going
Nothing
on
new.
there.
Nope.
We'll just continue on to other business. Planning board will meet next month. Carroll County Broadband, we already read the feasibility study. Under other, I will just bring this out now, Dorothy. Dorothy's been contacted by Anita Burrows. Our districts have been rebordered, and this will definitely have an effect on the town of Albany. Anita's email says, the district that I represent now will morph into Carroll 2, and will include Jackson, Bartlett, Harts location, Hales location, Albany, Chatham, and Sandwich. So the number in my district will go from 3,200 to 8,200. We'd like to have the voters get to know who's running in the district, including myself, Chris McAleer, Bill Marsh for Senate, and Adam Hurd for County Commissioner. Please let me know if you need any other information. I'd just like to discuss the effects that this will have on us. And I'm wondering if you think it might be a good idea to have some of these representatives or senators in to discuss what effects they think we will have.
Yeah, I agree with that. Having a town hall type meeting would be helpful.
invite the public to just do it all at once, or should we
Yeah.
have her in
I
and
think-
then have,
I mean, I think just do it all at once.
do it all at once?
I think you're right.
Should we have all of them in?
We did that once, many years back, and
How many are in that new district?
McAleer, Marsh for
Okay.
Senate, Adam Kerr for County Commissioner.
Yeah.
So Chris McAleer would be a representative, or is he, yeah,
Yeah, he's already a representative because I wrote one of those letters I sent to him. But the rest are,
Inviting them, yeah,
they're new.
yeah, I think inviting all of them.
all the towns, I
Mm-hmm,
agree with that. Let's,
yeah.
okay.
So I'm inviting everybody on that list, and then are we gonna put it in the newspaper? How are we gonna, and are we gonna have an agenda, or is it gonna be kind of a free-for-all?
Or do we just do it part of the selectmen meeting?
Or that. I'm good with having it a part of a selectmen meeting and just having the public
We have to do it in
forum.
the bigger
Yeah.
room.
you're gonna post for it anyway, so might as
Yeah.
well get a meeting out of it.
Yeah.
And you're away June,
I'll be, June 9th. Well, that doesn't affect us here. The last week, the fourth week in June, I won't be here, yes.
so maybe we could shoot for the first meeting in June?
Yeah.
So the 8th?
How's that sound, Dorothy?
I don't understand the issue. I have not been following it, so
I really
I-
haven't had time to follow it.
I thought this was in the future, happening now, actually, that redistricting. I thought that was a ways off,
No,
and it's already
happening
done.
now.
But I mean, we don't have anybody that's
Right.
around us.
Yeah, right.
We just got,
we never have though, have we?
oh yeah,
Yeah, we had Freedom, Ospey,
Tamworth.
Tamworth.
it was the town.
So it's Jerry Nurk. Where is he from? Freedom?
Conway.
No, Jerry Knirk is from Freedom.
Freedom,
Okay,
yeah.
and so is
And then
Mark.
McAleer's
Yeah.
was on it.
Yeah.
He's from, is he from Conway?
I don't know.
There was another one from Freedom. I was surprised there were two
Mark.
from Freedom.
Mark McConkey's.
Mark McConkey,
It's awesome.
and then Jeff Bradley, obviously. So we only had 3. So now we're gonna have, we're still only gonna have 2. Well, her, 2. And
I
then,
guess in all fairness, we should invite whoever might be running.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. We gotta be
well, how do we
positive.
find out who that is?
Right, I'm,
Exactly. This can't be about
I mean,
election era.
so is she a Democrat? I don't care. It's not a partisan
think
thing,
she
but if
is.
she's reaching out as a Democrat, then we
She
should,
is.
in all fairness, reach out to the
Yeah.
Republican leadership and find out who,
Yep.
and have them all,
Yeah.
because that's
Just
only fair.
Have them
And just-
all and just say, you know, we're just wondering how the redistricting is going to affect Albany.
Okay.
and then invite for a public forum,
And then just, you know,
just chat about it after the select board
we
meeting.
can chat about it too and.
Yeah,
This
you know, let
this
people
has
know.
got to be strictly about the redistricting and not about election.
Well, that's,
oh yeah. it
that's
is.
what, but if you, that's gonna,
Yeah.
that's what I mean.
I don't
You know,
want it
when
to
you
turn
open
into
this up as a town hall meeting without meeting with them before,
Right.
you're gonna have to
I'm
manage
not gonna
that.
have a debate here.
Well, you don't
Right.
know what's going to happen, so that's kind of.
We think it's gonna be a big,
I think it's going to be
It's gonna turn into
it's going to turn
a,
into a handshake,
election,
kiss and baby
yeah.
type deal.
really?
Yeah,
that's why I
You
think
ever been to
that,
one of my turkey dinners?
exactly. It's a meet and greet, and that's
I'm like, you
and it's
can't
fine
do
as long
that
as
here.
both sides are represented.
Yeah, but that is,
Yeah.
you
But it's
can't.
not about winning the election; it's about how it affects Albany.
Right, and then should we?
Right, well, we could just say the discussion is going to remain, what does redistricting,
Right,
Yes.
how does that affect Albany? That's all we
That's
wanna
it.
know.
Yes.
from both perspectives, from,
We could call it that, we don't need
Yeah.
to hold a
Well,
no,
I
candidates
would
night.
think
no,
it'd be from
no, yeah,
sitting
you're right, I just,
What do you think of that?
from the sitting officials that are in office at this time.
well, I think, so here's my concern. And you guys manage this however you want. I think you need to run the public meeting, because if you just go to her, you're gonna get a Democratic perspective, and if you just go to somebody else, you're gonna get what you, like you said, what you're looking for is a generic map of how this redistricting potentially can affect Albany.
What it means, right?
Yeah, and we don't care.
So do we necessarily need to have?
Are we opening a can of worms?
Yeah.
I think you might be. That's what I'm trying to say. That
Yeah.
you might be better off. I don't think we can't influence the redistricting. You might be better off waiting until the redistricting is done, the election is over, and then get the elected representatives who actually have some power to come in
That's
and
what
meet
I'm
with you
saying.
and the
Actual
townspeople.
That makes
sitting
more
officials.
sense.
Rather
Yeah.
than right now, we're gonna have all these candidates
Right.
who are gonna promise people things that
Yeah.
they may or may not be able to deliver.
Right.
And we're all gonna be sitting there going, oh yeah, right. But
And it's turning into an election.
right, and then the residents can have issues and
yeah, right.
like I think that you wait till the
Let's just wait,
redistricting is
yeah.
done.
right?
People are elected, and then you get our actual representatives in here and have
Sitting
conversation.
Yeah.
officials at the time.
Because
Yeah.
they're the ones that can actually represent us.
It felt good at the beginning, but then thinking it through.
Well, I just think you can't. And I'm not saying it's a bad idea necessarily. I'm just saying that you can't. It's going to be hard to
I haven't been
manage.
able to follow
Right.
it, so.
Yeah, I haven't
Yeah.
either.
It would
read some stuff, but
it might turn into an issue with needing a mediator.
well,
You
yeah. And I
know,
don't think
like-
you guys
Yeah,
want
I
to
mean-
put yourselves
No,
in a
no,
position
yeah.
where you're telling your residents, "Oh, you can't ask that question."
No.
Like, you
I
don't
don't
want to ask
wanna
that
know.
question.
It-
And there are like things, short-term rental. There are some issues on the table that matter
Yeah.
to you guys,
Yeah.
and that you can once you know who can affect change, then you can.
So
bring
when are
them.
the elections for that?
September
September?
is the primary,
Okay.
and then the general will be in November. All right,
So it's
ixnay on the,
Sorry.
plenty of time.
Borrow
Plenty
say.
of time.
Well, and now not for nothing. Now you have time to think about it and,
Right.
and decide. What are our specific needs, and like look at redistricting. Are we now the tiniest town? I mean, we're not a big town. We're never going to be a big town in any of these districts. But how do we not get overlooked?
right, as we always do. Go ahead, Dorothy.
Given the towns that are going to be, the towns that are going to be making up this group, we are not the tiniest. Keep that in mind.
No.
The locations are
Right.
the tiniest.
Right.
But we want to know how it's going to be different, what effect it will have, because we're no longer, the towns that are budding us no longer have any reason to do anything we particularly need.
Right,
So,
as it
No.
was.
What happened to Madison? And did they stay in Carroll 1?
I don't know where they went.
I mean, that's another thing. I think we should look at a districting map and
Yeah.
Can we just find it online now?
Should be able to.
well,
A redistricting.
You could be very surprised when you see what it is.
Yeah.
yeah, I think what we have to look at is what it is now and what it's going to be, because that will inform.
You're going to Chatham, which is
Way
all
up
the
by
way west.
Freiburg.
We're going to all the way north to Jackson and Bartlett. I don't know something further south. I don't know what it was. But it's bizarre.
This is like in a
Not
different
showing the map.
language. Nope.
Yeah.
Well, there's nothing
Here we
I
go.
can do about that now.
No.
I'll do some research and
Yeah.
get it out in your packets just so you kind of can put an eyeball on it. Sometimes visually it's easier to
It
understand than
is,
it is.
definitely. All right, correspondence, review and discuss letter from Cooper Cargill Chantry, notice of foreclosure on the sale of 2443 New Hampshire Route 16.
So this is the previous White Mountain Organic Growers property, or
Yeah.
actually she still owns it. And
Yeah.
it has been, I think this is the 4th or 5th time it's been advertised for a foreclosure sale, and she reapplies for bankruptcy every time and gets it stayed. So I'm not too excited.
It's
that
just
this will actually
information,
happen. Yeah,
right?
just
This is just
informational.
informational at this point.
Yeah, because this property's been on our deed list every year, and it gets paid right before the deeding. So I thought you guys might be interested in knowing.
Yeah, just know it's there. Alright. And then we have an email from Conway Area Lions Club with the status of the bench they'll be donating to the town.
Yeah, so she says they were collecting in February. Usually takes 4 to 5 months to have an amount of recycled plastic needed, and then a few weeks for the order to come in. ETA mid-July to August. She wants to do it. Now she's saying it'll be here by the end of May, and then she'll contact us with an exact date. So she would like to do a presentation and have a photo taken. So I just wanted to touch base with you that I might put it on the June agenda.
This is what the new map looks like.
Is that the new one?
We're District 2. Yeah, so, yeah. I found it. It's pretty shocking.
Oh,
I think June.
when you told me what it was.
So
Meeting.
since we're not doing this meeting, we could do it
Yeah.
the June 8th meeting. That way
June 8th, and
Jennifer
it'll
could be
be
here.
light enough, we could do a picture outside.
Outside. Yeah.
If
That
that's
if it's
all right.
if it's ready, if the end of May turns out to be, and if not, if you want Jen to still be here, then we can do it the first meeting in July.
Okay, alright, so let's try for the beginning of
Okay.
June, if not, we
Yep.
can wait until July. Good? Yeah,
That's good.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
okay. Review notice from DRA regarding the 2021 total equalized valuation, which is plummeted. What was the other notice? It was 84.6 or something like that?
Yeah.
It just dropped more than 1%. But with
What real estate is doing.
the real estate market being so high as it is, it does take down our median. DRA researches valid sales in our area, and we compare them to Albany, and that's how they come up. That's a quick overview of how they come up with an equalized value that we use. And every town, of course, the sales are higher than assessed values, so that's what is driving the decrease in our assessed value. I don't think it's that catastrophic right now that he would have to jump in and do another early reval. It might even out to next year if the prices start to come down.
It's hard to believe that this real estate market can stay the way it is, but I think the only concern is obviously DRA front. So we just had a full town-wide update
2020.
in 2020, and we were at, I think, 101%. And so we've fallen from 101% down to 86% in a year. And obviously,
2 years. Oh, a year.
a
Sorry.
year, because this is 21s and
Yep.
that was 20. Obviously, DRA doesn't like it to get below 80 or above 120. They don't like the coefficient of dispersion to be over 10. I think they're going to have to waive all those because there are a lot of towns that are in a heck of a lot worse shape than we are because they're farther out from their reval year. And we're all, there are things we could do to adjust that. He could apply multiplying factors against the different kinds of stratification, like land only, commercial, residential. But I think the market's going to correct itself at some point, and so if you artificially adjust that, then
You have to adjust it.
you're looking at adjusting it back. So it's just something to be aware of, that clearly the real estate market is still in significant flux. And I think when you hear about what houses are going for and the fact that people are paying cash and 15-day closings and above asking price and bidding wars, and it's not really surprising.
Yeah. Alright. And public comment. Yes, Dorothy?
I just want to make a comment about the, what are those things, rumble strips?
Rumble strips.
Rumble strips. I think they're very important. We were coming home when, we discussed back a number of years, but we were coming back in winter time at night. And we would have been in a terrible accident if one of the rumble strips that told us we were going over where we shouldn't be. So I'm a fan of but I do understand, I don't live there.
Right.
I do know that it's very noisy, but you have to weigh these things, I think.
Thank you. Non-public, we don't need one, I don't believe.
Nope.
And the next meeting will be May 11th, 5:30 at Albany Town Hall.
I may have a conflict.
You may have a conflict. Would you let
And
Kelly know?
I will. It may change, but I just came up with a conflict today. So. And I'm sure you can carry on without me if I don't make it.
Well, if we have to. All right. And then you were gonna motion.
Motion adjourned.
Oh, you were?
It's my week.
All right.
I think Jen should get
Second.
adjourned. She can second. No, she
I
can second.
seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.